Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about Chiron Intercepted in a natal horoscope. As most of you know, an interception occurs when you have all 30 degrees of a sign inside a house cusp. Now, it's also possible to have a planet or energy intercepted as well, and interceptions can be a little bit more taxing and stressful as opposed to having it not intercepted. The energy is somewhat obstructed and blocked and suppressed, and it's just not expressed as readily as opposed to a sign, planet energy that is not an interception. So anyway, a lot of you know that Chiron is associated with the wounded healer in a natal chart, and it shows in ways where we may have been perhaps traumatized. We have experienced generally emotional wounds. Physical wounds are possible, but it's mainly emotional wounds, and it shows an area or sector in our lives where we've experienced these things, these wounds, but we often have difficulty helping ourselves in these areas, but we can strongly accentuate or emphasize it in someone else's life. Now with the interception, it can be more difficult accessing these abilities to help others with their wounds and perhaps helping ourselves as well. Now, the thing about it is you have an interception is a blockage, and it also, when you have an interception, a lot of the energy can be more internalized. Now, somebody experiencing, or I should say somebody that has an interception in Chiron, or Chiron intercepted in their natal horoscope, this can make it a little bit harder to deal with the emotional wounds that the person is trying to deal with, and it makes it maybe even harder to even express it and even talk about it, or find ways, methods to perhaps alleviate some of this emotional pain that perhaps this person is feeling or has felt. Now, also, as far as helping others, there can be some frustration and exasperation due to the fact that this could be the person that really would want to help somebody in the area indicated by Chiron in sign and house, more by house placement, because, as I've stated in other videos, Chiron on average traverses a sign for about 4 to 5 years in the average time. So it's a lot more significant, I believe, in my opinion, as far as the house placement goes. So I'll give you some examples with this. Now let's take somebody that has Chiron in Gemini in their 4th house intercepted in their natal chart. Now, Gemini is about being loquacious, communicative, and versatility, variety. This person may experience perhaps some trauma or some emotional wounds or pain, perhaps in matters in communication with their family. Perhaps this person would like to be a little bit more talkative, a little bit more loquacious with family members and in their home life, but may feel perhaps there's something holding him or her back, or being able to express things pertaining to the home. This could be somebody that has had difficulty, perhaps just in their communication in general, whether things got misunderstood or misconstrued, or just maybe general arguments and things of maybe a disputatious manner in connection with their home family. There may be difficulty in this person expressing things connected with emotional security. And Chiron will give this difficulty as it is, even if it's not intercepted. But if it is intercepted, it makes it a little bit more harder to deal with this, and perhaps even being able to understand maybe even the reason behind why this emotional pain is happening, and maybe harder to resolve it. Now, at the same time, the same person may have a yearning or have some want to help others in terms of any kind of discord connected with communications with their family members and things related to their home life, but It may be a little bit more difficult to access this due to the fact that Chiron is intercepted. At the same time, this person will still accentuate or emphasize this thing with others as far as communication with the family, and things about maybe articulating their perhaps problems maybe with their own emotional security, and then go to themselves and perhaps maybe help their own wounds later on, but this may be a little bit delayed due to the fact that it's intercepted. Now, take another example. Let's say somebody has Chiron in Aries intercepted in their 8th house. Now, Chiron in Aries could indicate perhaps some kind of emotional wounds associated perhaps with not being assertive and aggressive in certain things in their life. And in the 8th house, it could indicate perhaps matters pertaining to taxes, maybe insurance, perhaps with a sexual partner, even matters maybe with inheritances to some degree. And this could be a person that may have even harder ability expressing this due to the fact that Chiron is intercepted. This could be somebody that may be able to help somebody else in these matters. And also 8th house is others' resources or shared resources, so it could be a problem maybe standing up for that person in connection with shared resources and saying something like, well, I should have a little bit more control over such and such account, for example, such as a joint checking or savings account. And this person will still be apt to help the other person in this area and sector of their lives, and will help themselves more likely than not later on, or attempt to help themselves at some point. But this energy obviously can be obstructed and suppressed due to the fact that Chiron is intercepted. And as I stated before, Chiron is about helping others with their emotional wounds, and often because the person may be emphasizing or accentuating this manner of helping with others and expending all this energy doing this for someone else or other people. That's part of the reason why, or at least strongly connected, I believe, with why sometimes they have difficulty in helping themselves in this area. But I do believe that people that have Chiron in whatever house, that they may help themselves at some point in their lives, but it's often there's often, unfortunately, there could be a lot of trauma or emotional pain that this person endures, unfortunately, perhaps before doing so. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Chiron Intercepted in a Natal Horoscope. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about unaspected planets, and I'll be starting with the Sun unaspected in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because a person, astrologically, is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.